Hello, I'm Alistair Stevenson, and today I'm going to be reviewing the HTC One against the Apple iPhone 5. Now, the Galaxy S4 is just on the horizon, and these are the two top competitors it's going to have to face when it's released, with HTC One being the current top dog in the Android community, and the Apple iPhone being a benchmark which every smartphone is compared to. Now, the HTC One was released earlier this year, meaning that it is basically a generation ahead of the iPhone 5. As you can see, they both have very different designs, though, again, made by a nice brushed metal, which we think looks great, and also translates to give great build quality. The HTC One is obviously bigger, a fact mainly helped by the fact it actually has two Dolby speakers on either side, meaning that for those that want to, you can get a fairly decent audio quality out of it. The iPhone 5, by comparison, has a Gorilla Glass front with a single physical button, and of course the same metal rimming that you've seen around on most Apple devices these days. Of the two, the iPhone 5 is far lighter, measuring at 124 by 59 by 7.6 millimeters and weighing a feather-light 112 grams. This makes it one of the lightest smartphones on the market, especially in this size bracket. The larger HTC One measures in 137 by 68 by 9.3 millimeters and weighs a heftier 143 grams. Those used to larger phones, more embedded in the Android ecosystem, will find the HTC One fairly comfortable, however, with this intelligent volume button placement, with the volume there and power on top, meaning that in general those with medium or large hands can reach it and use it one-handed fairly easily, whereas small-handed people will likely find the iPhone 5 a little less unwieldy. Turning the two on, you can actually see straight away that they have different software. The Apple iPhone running on iOS 6, and the HTC One, a very heavily tweaked version of Android 4.1 Jelly Bean, run over with HTC's Sense 5.0 UI. The most notable change to Sense is that you don't get greeted by the home screen with apps as you do in traditional Android. Instead, you get Blink Feed. Blink Feed collates news sources that you pick alongside social media information to offer a tile display, fairly similar to that seen on Windows Phone, with different stories and updates from your friends. In general, we found the recommendations are fairly useful, though we soon found ourselves turning it off and making it so that Android's core app, widget-friendly home screen was our default, which is fairly easily done. Past this, it's again down to the apple and oranges of the dilemma of Android versus iOS. Both operating systems have their perks. Android is open, meaning that it's more tweakable and you can actually find more apps and install custom software on it, whereas Apple is closed, meaning that it is slightly more secure and we're yet to see a big case of malware or attacks targeted this at all. Android is in that sense a little bit more insecure, but again has a few other perks to it, like on the Android Jelly Bean, the ability to run multiple accounts. In terms of speed, the HTC One is fast. It comes loaded with a 1.7 GHz Qualcomm quad-core Snapdragon processor. Now, this puts it, on paper, the Apple iPhone, which comes with an A6 dual-core processor, to shame. However, Apple hasn't released the speed of the processor, claiming it doesn't matter, and that speed is actually down to software optimization, a fact which in the past has proven right, with Apple iOS devices generally beating higher spec Android ones. However, with having been out for a while, we did find that the HTC One was faster than the iPhone 5, generally loading web pages and running more powerful, demanding apps with greater ease than the iPhone. That said, in most cases you won't notice the difference, and they are both more than powerful enough. Past this, the next big debate is camera. Now, the Apple iPhone comes with an 8 megapixel rear camera, whereas the HTC One comes with a 4 megapixel rear camera. However, the HTC One comes with HTC's custom ultra pixel technology. Now, this doesn't change the pixel count. It is still a 4 megapixel camera, but it means that it captures larger of pixels, which HTC claims lets it get more light and generally improve clarity and and shutter speed. This means that in low light, the HTC One should theoretically be better than the iPhone 5. However, testing the two, we did notice some issues with the HTC One. In low light, it did perform better than the iPhone 5, but thanks to the low megapixel count, we did notice certain issues, like the fact that there was some noise when you've actually zoomed in on pictures or blew them up for use on either blogs or social media sites. Overall, we would say that the HTC One is slightly better in battery than the iPhone 5. Doing a battery burn test by looping video, we found it did beat the iPhone, with the HTC One generally lasting for about an hour or two longer than the iPhone 5. However, this could be because of the fact that the iPhone 5 unit we're using is older, so the battery's not quite as fresh, and we'd have to test it with an out-of-the-box iPhone before we could do an 100% guarantee on that. In terms of business use, they're both very nice devices, though we have to say they are both unashamedly consumer-focused. For bring your own device purposes, we personally prefer the HTC One, feeling that it's slightly nicer, offering better performance than the iPhone 5. However, for those embedding the Mac ecosystem using Apple computers, the iPhone 5 would of course prove better. I'm Alistair Stevenson, thanks for watching.